Oh, just give it a second. Cloning sickness. Ooh, where'd my picture go? Obviously, a little bit of a bug. Let me just see if it... Comprehension impairment, okay. Yeah, there was a big patch yesterday. Yeah, let me restart this real quick. Which actually, we've got 16 seconds, so let's pop over here. And like I said, we will go a bit into overtime most likely so we can check out some more of the game. See some more sites. There are some really cool things. And again, there is a lot. And unfortunately, with Steam being wacky, cut into my playtime. So we'll have to go a little bit longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the first giveaway now. I am going to pull 3 winners. We will do the event wheel. Then I will call Tom on Skype. We'll have a good time chatting, and then we'll go back into game and check it out. Evo, the population is... There's people. I ran into quite a few on Monday when I was playing before the patch. So it's not like there's nobody around, and there's chat that goes on too, and there's helpful people in chat, so it's awesome. So let's get over to the event wheel. Again, if it just hits the repopulation, you just get the code. If it says the repopulation and gold, you get 250 gold for the channel and the key. Let's do it. All right, here we go. First winner. Skulkin. Are you here? There you are. All right. Let's see what you've got. What have you won? Game and gold! Ding, ding, ding! Alright, let me give you this. And I will send your code out. Uno momento. Next winner. Oh, Evo, you're not following. Gotta follow. All aboard the train. Woo woo. Oh, Evo's following. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Alright. Let's see. I can't wait to see more people on the game and, like, it get further along. It's like... Alright, game key for you, and the final winner for right now. Meridian. Are you here, Meridian? I just saw you chatting not too long ago. There you are! It's not terrible to keep up with chat, you two over there in Beam, who are like, boo. Game and gold. Game and gold. All right, let me get this over to you. Okay, let me pop over here. I am going to send those codes via Twitch. So let me do that super quick. And then we will call Tom and we're going to have a good old time. And Evo. Where are you? There you are. Alright. One. There's two. And thank you, Tom. He gave us extra keys, so please thank the developers. Very, very generous of them. Super generous. Super, super, super. We appreciate it. I'm sure you guys do too. So, let me reset this. We're going to set this to... Oh, what am I doing? We're going to set the next one for an hour. And like I said, get your questions ready or start thinking about questions, things like that. And then we'll get back into a little more gameplay. There's that guy. And let me... No more music. Oh! Let's pop over here. Let's call Tom. And let's do it. Hello.
Hello.
Your body is ready, Nox? Wonderful. So, how are you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. Now, let's get the ball rolling. What is your role on the team?
I am the production manager.
Okay. Now, what age did you start playing games?
Oh, let's see. Well, I'd say around 7, 8.
What was the first game you remember playing?
Frogger on Atari.
Oh my god, that's an addicting game, though. Now, how did you get started with developing games? Was this something you knew you always wanted to do, or did you just happen on it?
Well, I used to work for SWG as a GM. Other than that, just doing a lot of betas and alphas, helping do that portion of the testing aspect. And then once I got out of the military in 2012, I was volunteering for the Repopulation, trying to work toward some mission stuff and that sort of thing. And they were looking for a management type person. With my background, I fitted that bill, so I got my foot in the door that way.
Nice. Now, if you weren't working in the game development field, what would you be, pretty much?
Oh, what would I be doing right now? I have no idea.
Oh, uh-oh. So, why do you work on games? Is it a personal passion? Is it something that you've wanted to do as a kid from playing games? Like, again, did you just kind of like fall into it and you find that you really enjoy it?
Well, I mean, I've been playing games for a really long time, playing MMOs. My first MMO was Ultima Online. And getting into into development side of games, as far as the alphas and the betas and stuff, you get to where you want input. You want to be able to see your ideas and see them come out and be in the game. And working with Repopulation, I've been able to do that a little bit more because I have a little more say and input into things, being the production manager.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's kind of went from being a tester and all that stuff, and then eventually getting to where I have a little bit more say and stuff, like I am right now. So I mean, it's taken a while to get here, but there's obviously more direct routes to go on. I could have gone to school for the stuff and went that route, but I decided to go in the military for 14 years prior first. So
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
no.
Now, how many games have you worked on? Is this the first one that you've done this particular type of work with, or have you done a few others?
As far as development and what I'm doing like right now, this is my first one. Far as working on other games in a testing standpoint and stuff, I've worked on a lot of games, from Star Wars Galaxies all the way up to Arcade. Then of course Repopulation.
Now, how did the inspiration for the game's concept come about?
Well, JC Smith, our lead developer, has a real passion for SWG and that, and talking with him, that's kind of how the game got started. Is he wanted to see games like Ultima Online, SWG, Shadowbane, all those old school games that everybody really enjoyed playing and stuff. And wanted to see that stuff in more of a futuristic functionality in today's gaming industry. Kind of get away from the whole theme park thing. So that's kind of where this idea and concept came from. We didn't want it to be, the SWG only thing, but there's a lot of aspects from a lot of the different games like UO and Shadowbane and SWG, all that stuff. We just kind of want to be able to grasp all those ideas and try to shove them all into one game.
You can tell that there is a lot of influences from a couple different, not that that's a bad thing. Because it's like it seems like the best has been taken out of some of them or shaped around some different things from different games and then put together and it works. And that's a good thing. So what inspires you outside of gaming?
My wife and kids. Other than them, I mean, as far as hobbies and stuff, I'm a gunsmith.
Nice.
So I like working on weapons and like any other guy, working on cars and getting greasy.
Getting greasy. Now, how is the game being received so far? Do you think that it's going over well? Do you think that there needs to be more? It needs to get out to the media a little bit more, or it's slowly gaining speed. What is your feel for how it's being received?
So far, I think it's been received well. I mean, you always have your naysayers and the people that really enjoy the game. We've had a lot of positive feedback on the game. We've also had our share of negative feedback. People didn't like this feature or that feature, but overall, it's been a real good showing. The positives has definitely outweighed the negatives.
That's always a good thing.
We could always have more media coverage. We could always have more ways of getting our name out there and getting the game out there. But the way we're doing it now is kind of word of mouth, for the most part, other than a little bit of, coverage as we go to PAX and we do some things at the PAX events and stuff. And, word of mouth has gone really far for us and it's really worked. And then, of course, being on Steam, that also helps a lot.
Definitely, word of mouth does do good, especially if you know someone that's into it. You're more likely, or if you hear people being like, "Oh, you have to do this," a lot of people will go for it. Now, how long has the game been being worked on?
Um, let's see. The game started being worked on. I believe it was back in 2010. If I came on with the game in 2012 in August. So, and it
Okay.
had already been out for a couple years, as far as in development.
Okay. And how many people are involved in the making of the game?
Well, keep in mind that we have a lot of volunteers that help us. So, I mean, right now I would say volunteers and everything, around 50 people are help building the game. Traditional gaming companies, they would have a couple hundred,
Mm.
your AAA titles and stuff. So, I mean, we have a really small staff, but I think we get a lot of work done with the small staff that we have. And I think it really shows it, especially looking at our build notes. I mean, our build notes are not small in comparison to
No, they
what
aren't.
a lot of people put out.
Now, do you have any examples on what's gone right so far during development? Was there something that was implemented that just went super smooth and you were like, oh, that couldn't have gone any better? Or was there, something like an idea that just worked itself in perfectly? What's gone right so far?
Well, we got several things that we've implemented that've gone right. I mean, overall, everything's gone right. I mean, there's always some hiccups in development cycles and stuff. You have
Mm.
issues with one thing or the other. Sorry, I have my troll staff that's trolling me over here on our team speak as well. But
Well, I think there. I think. I know. I see Snafu has some questions for you.
yes, Snaffy was going to make sure that he had a lot of questions for me.
Awesome.
But I mean, we've when we sit down and build. I think the biggest thing that we've gotten right is the devs really take what the players say into into consideration. They don't just like most games kind of do what they want to do and not really take what the player base says. I know a lot of people that get on our forums and stuff will see that J.C. Smith, Stoddy, and Joshua Halls, all three that are owners of the company and our devs, really do take a lot of effort to make sure that you're on the forums. They read what the player base says, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that we get right.
That's awesome. It's always good to hear, when developers are involved, because I can't tell you how many people I hear complain about developers not being involved in talking with the fan base, and maybe mulling around some ideas or taking constructive criticism and not blowing up at it and taking it the wrong way, things like that. So that's always a good thing. What's gone wrong during development?
Oh well, like I said,
Let me get the book out.
in development things can always go wrong or not necessarily go the way they're intended to. I mean, a lot of issues we catch with our QA team. So I mean, players never see any of the big uh-ohs.
Uh-oh.
Um, I mean, we've had some issues, cache issues, that sort of thing.
Mm,
Like right now, you're seeing a Steam issue
yeah.
that we've had with this last patch. So I mean, there's nothing that's been like drastically that's like the game is destroyed and
Mm.
or anything that I would say has gone wrong during development. Everything's pretty much the normal bumps and bruises that you get in development.
That's not too bad. At least nothing's been game breaking.
Nah.
Nice. Now, what are some of the other games that you've worked on or that you've tested, things like that?
Oh, let's see. Star Wars Galaxies, Shadowbang. Uh, sorry.
Oh boy, the list.
Wow, I'm trying to think of all these. I mean, there's been a lot of them. Basically, anything from SWG forward, I've had at least stuck my nose into and tried. The big ones that I played is Aeon, Arcade, pretty much all the PvP style games I've played. Of course, I've played WoW. I don't think anybody yet hasn't that's been playing video games during that era.
That's true. Now, where do you think the game industry will be in 5 to 10 years? What do you think is going to come to prominence? Do you think that there's going to be a certain genre that is more popular in the next 10 to 15 or 5 to 10 years? What's your, or how do you feel like what's going to go on? What's going to change? What's going to become popular? Where do you think the next step in gaming is going?
I think that you'll see more sandbox type games like ours. I don't know. It just seems like here lately that everybody's been getting away from the theme park style games and pushing more towards the sandboxes. You have like Arcade. It's a sandbox style game. It's kind of a mixture. It's kind of a theme park sandbox deal. Then you have ours. It's a sandbox. It's a wide open sandbox. I think you'll see different ways of trying to sell the sandbox theme style game in the future.
Nice. So let's do some personal questions. What games did you enjoy playing in 2014?
Oh, 2014. Well, in 2014, the only game I did get a chance to play was Arcade, and I also did iRacing, and then of course Repop. I played a lot of Repop.
What is your favorite game of all time?
That would be without Star Wars Galaxies.
All right. What is your favorite moment that you've ever had in a game? Have you ever played a game that had something happen that, like, I guess stirred you emotionally or changed the way you thought about a certain situation?
That was kind of hard. Of course, right now with Snafu trolling me, killing Snafu in Star Wars Galaxies was always a triumphant moment. I don't know. It had to be in Star Wars, probably when I was on Radiant and I had my Jedi Knight standing in Theed, beating the crap out of all the bounty hunters that were trying to kill me. That's probably the most fun I ever had in a game.
Nice. Now, do you guys have a next title you'll be working on, or are you strictly still focusing on the repopulation? You're not even thinking about anything right now. All sails ahead on that guy.
Well, we're thinking ahead. I mean, but we're planning ahead. Is repopulation. I mean, we got to get the game released, and then after release, we'll have a lot of content that we want to feed into the game. And then, of course, in the future, hopefully, we'll be around long enough to start punching out expansions and see if we can't find us another planet to get to, or some sort of space travel or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds super. Now, I know right off the bat, I'm going to ask this for Yura, because this is his standard question. Are you going to have Linux support?
That's a good question. That'll be a question I need to take back to the devs and ask them exactly what all we're planning on. I know right now we're doing the Windows thing. Whether or not Linux is going to be in that, right now I don't know. Right now we're focused on getting Windows right. And then I'm sure we'll be diving. I would hope that we'd be diving into Linux and Apple systems.
Nice. So let me scroll up here because there has been some questions already. Dale over in Twitch says, can you explain to everyone why the game development is slow/fast/just right? why a good game is more important than a fast one.
Well, a lot of that depends on our dev schedule and how our everything works with our dev cycle. So basically, if we go through a dev cycle and if we find that we've broken a lot of things, or we're adding a bunch of new features in and we need to test them, we find it, there's a lot of issues with them. Obviously, we don't want to kick that to a server so players get a hold of it and it's broke. So a lot of times it takes us a little bit longer to get that stuff fixed and pushed over to our staging server so our QA can test, and then they retest, and then they have to test again, and it sometimes it extends that out a little bit further. Used to before we went to Steam, we did a patch every 2 weeks religiously, and it was what it was, and if it was broke, then we fixed it the next 2 weeks. Being that we're now on Steam, we have a lot more player base. This not you don't want to do that. You don't want to give the players that are testing your game now, being that we're in the latter part of alpha, we don't want to give them a completely broken content. So if we find the issues with it, then a lot of times that extends our developmental cycle for that patch.
Gotcha. Chaos from Twitch. He says, so Tom, I like the concept behind using missions to get abilities, but could you add the ability to get skills by purchasing a trainer from a trainer, say rifle tactics trainer, to buy sniper training or snipe training, where you do a mini game to learn the ability? I think it would add more immersion to the game and make it easier to learn new abilities, which is my main problem with the game.
That's a good suggestion. I would say for you to get on our forums and put that up in the forums and get some traffic with the player base, see what the other players say as well, and see if that's something that turns into a popular feature that you guys would like to see integrated in the game. And then from there, what the devs will do is they'll look and see how we can put that in, whether or not we'll get that in before release. I would probably say I doubt it, but it's not saying it's not something that can't get put in the future.
Alrighty. Let me see here. All right. Eurydamus, I'm curious about the difference in what the difference is between the silver and gold packages on Steam, and if there is any reoccurring cost involved with the game now or in the future.
Well, we've gone on a free to play model, so I mean, obviously the game will be free. On release, it'll still be free, and then we will have a cash shop. Our cash shop won't be like a lot of these games where they turn into a play-to-win thing. Things that we want to offer on our cash shop will be like armor and that sort of thing. That'll be purely cosmetic. As you guys know, that like all our stats and everything for weapons and armor and all that stuff comes from the fittings that you put on them, which you won't be able to buy those off the market.
Gotcha. Kempo Killer, is there a form of full loot PvP, i.e. drops from players on kill?
Well, we are in the future, I would say probably when we hit phase 1 beta, we're planning on standing up a hardcore server. On the hardcore server, the rule sets will be a lot different than the normal server, and can't remember off the top of my head if full loot is in there or if it is some type of loot table from players, but I do know there's a loot source from killing of players on the hardcore server.
Now, I have a question. Are you guys only going to have official servers, or will you allow other companies, like say Pure Pings is a server hosting company? Will other companies be allowed to set up servers for the game, or are you just going to strictly keep the servers in-house?
We haven't discussed that yet. We obviously haven't gotten that far into development to get there. So I really don't have a defined answer